This video will go over solving linear inequalities. So let's first look at the first problem. If we want to solve for x, let's move the x's to the left and everything else on the right in order to solve. So if we want to do that, let's move the 0.12x to the left-hand side. Okay. So when we do that, this will cancel out here, and we're left with 0.23x on the left-hand side is going to be greater than, and you bring down the 20.25. And to solve for x, you want to divide by 0.23. So x is greater than 88, and let's go 4 decimals here. 0.0435. Okay, same thing for number 2. Let's have the x on the left-hand side and move our constants to the right. So let's subtract 16. So if we're left with 0.04x is greater than 19 minus 16 is 3. Divide by 0.04 on both sides. X will be greater than 75 if you do 3 divided by 0.04. Okay, let's do one more problem like this on this page. So this time we have a greater than or equal to. So be careful that you know the difference. Greater than or equal to is different than just greater than. So when it has this line in the bottom, that means or equal to. So if we move 15,000 to the other side and bring down 0.05x is greater than or equal to 50,000. Solve for x by dividing by 0.05. X is greater than or equal to 0.05 goes into 50,000 1 million times. So this divided by this is 1 million. Okay, let's do some more problems here. But this time, what if we have a negative x? So if you have a negative x and you're solving, whenever you divide by a negative or multiply by a negative, it's going to switch the sign of the inequality. So let's first move over the 16. And we're left with negative 4x is greater than 4. Now, in order to get x by itself, you have to divide by negative 4. So when you divide by a negative here, that means to switch the sign of the inequality. Okay, so instead of greater than, x will actually be less than, and this is negative 1. So whenever you divide by a negative, you're going to switch the sign of the inequality. So let's try that one more time with number 5. Starting off by subtracting 14 is less than or equal to 20. And when we divide by negative 8, This means that x is going to be greater than or equal to, because we divided by a negative, negative 2.5. Okay, so let's go into a story problem. This says that boxes that weigh 45 pounds apiece are able to be loaded on a pallet. A pallet can safely support no more than 900 pounds. How many boxes can safely be loaded on the pallet? So let's have X be our number of boxes. So you always want to define a variable in math before you start using it. And if the boxes are 45 pounds apiece and you don't want it to be no more than, so this is going to be our keywords here, no more than 900. We can take this sentence and translate it into an inequality. So 45 pounds times X number of boxes has to be less than or equal to 900. So it's less than or equal to because it says no more than, which means it can't be greater than 900. It can be less, it can be equal to, but it can't be greater than 900. So that's why we chose this inequality. And then from here we can solve. So X is less than or equal to 20. So can't be more than 20 boxes. So you can have 20 boxes or less that are loaded. Okay. And let's look at one more problem. Number 7. You receive a job offer that pays $20,000 per year, plus 25% of all sales. You want to earn at least $60,000 a year. How many sales do you need to achieve the goal? Okay, so again, let's define a variable. Let's have X be our number of sales. Okay, and let's see, how do we set this up? So we have a starting amount of 20,000. So that doesn't change. But you get 25% of all sales. So remember, 25% as a decimal is 0.25. And if we need 25% of all sales that you make, so you're going to have the 20,000 plus 0.25 times however many sales, X. If you want that to be at least 60,000, that means you want greater than or equal to 60,000. So you want it to be more than or equal to 60,000. And from here, we have an equation that we can solve, or an inequality that we can solve. Okay. So we have 0.25 is greater than or equal to 40,000. And if we divide by 0.25 here, you're going to need quite a bit of sales in order to make this amount. You're going to need 160,000 sales at least. Okay. So this is how you can use inequalities in everyday type problems to help you figure out how much you need to do to at least get to a certain amount. That's where they're really helpful. So that's going to be the end of this video. If you have any questions, please let me know or submit a comment. Thank you.